Nigeria needs peace and stability. Achieve our goals in unity. We are brothers and
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Weekend File. The place for news, views, and analysis. Is indeed nice to see you again. The importance of the youth succeeding the aged farming populace cannot be overemphasized. This succession depends largely on the youth's perception of agricultural knowledge and exposure to agricultural practices. Back to those days when students in the post-primary education stage were taught in the classroom about modern methods of farming with practical training on the school's farmland, agricultural education and training in the high schools had professional teachers who understood the psychology, principles and techniques of teaching and learning process for a proper and adequate transfer of information to ensure change in knowledge, skill, and attitude towards progressive agricultural practices. There is no gainsaying the fact that it is necessary to educate and make the young generation to be conversant with agriculture in order to encourage them to contribute to food production and distribution. Today, one of the major problems facing Nigeria is unemployment among the youths. This is largely due to unfavorable dispensation of youths to agriculture as a career, and all efforts by government and non-governmental organizations to encourage youths to take to agriculture as a career proved abortive. But now, since agriculture plays an important role in the development of the economy of many developing nations, it becomes imperative for adequate attention to be focused on the sustainability of increased agricultural productivity. According to experts, the shortage of skilled manpower is by far a serious obstacle to large-scale agricultural development. This manpower, which is expected to be dominated by the young generation, is still left in the hands of the aged farmers. Hence, the need for young Nigerians to develop a positive attitude to agriculture as a progressive and reliable career. On our program this week, we will take a closer look at the government's plan to revive school agricultural program. The plans, the policy, and the implementation process aimed at getting it right in the agri sector once again is our outlook tonight. My name is Kurian Umayo. Let's do it again. On a very happy note, the Super Falcons of Nigeria have won the 2014 African Women Championship up in Namibia. Goals from Desire Oparanuzia and Azizat Oshoala gave the coach Edwin Oko-led side a deserved 2-0 win over the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon just moments ago. That's a glorious moments there for the Super Falconets. A non-governmental organization, G7 Patriots International, sponsored by its grand patron, Prince Arthur Eze, has presented a letter of solidarity to the state governor, Willie Obiano, requesting President Goodluck Jonathan to declare his interest to contest the 2015 presidential election. The state coordinator and secretary general southeast of the organization, Zeribe Ezeanona, made the presentation at the government house, Oka. Maureen Ezokeke completes the report.
The G7 Patriots International, made up of people from different political parties, is conversing for President Goodluck Jonathan to contest the 2015 presidential election under his party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In their Unity March 2014, led by Zeribe Ezeanona, which began from Aroma Junction in Oka to the Government House, Oka, the group presented a letter of solidarity to Governor Willie Obiano, represented by his Senior Special Assistant on Administration. We
wanting to continue the transformation agenda we have been doing for the past 4 years.
The governor is very interested in seeing to it that Mr. President wants.
Other speakers stated the aim of organizing the march.
We team together under G7 to say good luck, continue your good legacies in Nigeria.
From Oka, Maureen Ezokeke, NTA News.
The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Mr. John Oyegu, has commended the Rivers State Governor, Rotimi Amaechi, for his developmental achievements in the state in the last 7 years. He said this at the mega rally to mark the 7th anniversary celebration of the Amaechi administration in Rivers State. The chairman advised the governor to ensure that all people-oriented projects initiated and ongoing in the state are completed before the end of the administration. He also urged members of the party, especially those occupying elective and political positions, to always have the interest of the masses at heart. Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amaechi expressed gratitude to the people of the state for their patience and support in the last 7 years. Former head of state General Muhammadu Buhari, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and some state governors eulogized the efforts of the governor at attaining what they described as patriotic and diligent work in the state in the last 7 years. Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, is a year older today. As she marks her birthday, Nigerians have continued to send messages of goodwill, celebrating her acts of charity and love for the poor. State House correspondent Makud Saman Machan has this report.
As First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dame Patience Jonathan has carved out a niche for herself with her non-governmental organizations, the Women for Change and Development Initiative and the A. Arora Richard Foundation, where the lives of the less privileged in society are touched positively. Although her birthday this year is being celebrated low-key, messages of goodwill from Nigerians of all persuasions have been pouring in to felicitate with her and indeed the first family, praying for God's continued guidance and protection. Some of these prayers constantly resonating are by, among others, the beneficiaries of her A. Arora Heart Intervention Program, where children with heart diseases are treated free of charge.
When you pray to God for help, it's not that God will come down from heaven and help you, but He will send someone to come and help you. So the Lord used Her Excellency to save our lives. So we thank her. May God continue to bless her.
I think that's why God gave her a second chance to stay and do more and help the less privileged and empower us, the women, more politically, socially, and otherwise.
As she marks her birthday this year, the First Lady reiterates that the meaning of life to her is sharing every opportunity and privilege with others, particularly those who are not so privileged. I am Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the leadership of the Women for Change and Development Initiative, in a birthday message, described First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan as a special gift to the nation, who has provided a platform for the women in the country to fulfill their dreams. Dame Patience Jonathan, who is the initiator and grand patron of the Women for Change and Development Initiative, was also commended for her continuous promotion of peace on the African continent and her special interest for the welfare of the girl child. Statement signed by the special coordinator of the initiative, Dr. Rabi Ibrahim, wishes the First Lady good health, long life, and the strength to be a caring mother to all. As Nigerian women, we pray for her and her husband to successfully captain the transformation agenda of the country to a logical conclusion. Federal government's efforts towards environmental restoration of Ogoni land, and as proposed in the United Nations Environment Program UNEP report, has received a boost with the inauguration of a multi-stakeholders committee on Ogoni land by the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dizani Alison Madueke. Lydia Sampson reports.
The of environmental pollution of Ogoni land has been a long one, but the end appears to be in sight as a 14-member committee is saddled with the immediate responsibility of proposing a focused engagement and implementation plan has been inaugurated. The committee is also mandated to advise the Hydrocarbon Restoration High Prep Advisory Council on manner in which assets and funds of the project may be held and utilized. Inaugurating the committee, Minister of Petroleum Resources, Desani Alison Madueke, said the establishment of the committee is a direct response of the yearnings of the Ogoni people. The minister assured
I am expecting that in due course, the learnings from the Ogoni restoration work can and will be applied in other parts of Nigeria that may be facing similar environmental degradation problems. Thank you all for committing to this most important process and cause.
Minister assured of stakeholders' inclusion as well as effective engagement of people by government for a lasting solution. She urged members of the committee to brainstorm and develop suggestions for a clear and actionable roadmap for the restitution of the Ogoni people and restoration of the environment for healthy living. The committee is chaired by Dr. Jamila Shwara, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, and includes traditional rulers, President of MOSOP, as well as other stakeholders of the Ministries of Environment and that of the Niger Delta. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Minister of Transport, Senator Idris Omar, has inaugurated the local deep sea port project delivery committee to help fast-track federal government's desire to improve infrastructural development in maritime sector. Correspondent Anthony Forsing reports.
Senator Idris Omar, while inaugurating the committee, made bare the benefits associated with the project.
On completion, it will accommodate the high volume of cargo generated through international maritime trade, thereby enabling Nigeria to attain the status of a maritime hub for West and Central Africa. It also offers an excellent accessibility to the western, eastern, and northern regions of the country, thus ensuring easy transportation of cargoes by rail or through our inland waterways.
The Olokola Deep Sea Port, to be sited at the Olokola Export Processing Zone, an area located between Ogun and Ondo states, is a joint venture between the federal government, Ondo and Ogun state governments in partnership with a private investor on a public-private partnership arrangement. Chairman of the committee, Malam Suleiman Nagogo, expressed appreciation for the recognition in finding them worthy for the assignment, promising that they will deliver on their mandate. The committee's terms of reference is to drive the process to actualization, carry out the initial day-to-day conventional process, and assist in engaging a transitional advisor, as well as prepare periodic reports for the project steering committee. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
We just received a report that Saturday, being the Sabbath day in Israel, President Goodluck Jonathan, accompanied by religious leaders, visited some holy sites, as State House correspondent Shego Laule reports.
Saturday is the Sabbath day in Israel, and this is the day President Jonathan commenced the pilgrimage alongside members of his delegation, visiting holy sites of great significance. His first port of call was the Wailing Wall, where on a Sabbath day like this, cameras are not allowed to click in honor of the God of the Sabbath. It was the start of a series of prayers at a place known to harbor the holiest wall in the world. Two other sites visited were no less significant: the Mount Carmel, where there was a contest between Prophet Elijah and the prophet of Baal, and the God of Elijah proved to be the Almighty. A short prayer was observed in the chapel on the mountain. The delegation also visited Mount Tabor, believed to be where transfiguration of Jesus Christ took place. The president, trusting God for a better nation, Nigeria, was on the altar of God for prayers and supplication. He was assisted by the senior clergies on board.
Lord, your word has been revealed that their counsel has come to pass. Beginning with our leader, that Father, your hand is upon him. We surround
Meanwhile, Nigerian Christian pilgrims in Israel have prayed for divine intervention in tackling Nigeria's present security challenges ahead of the 2015 general elections. Amina Nujaim, who is in Jerusalem, reports that pilgrims have been visiting holy sites.
Pilgrims are in high spirit, some of whom are visiting the holy city for the first time. A lifetime experience it may be for some. The essence basically is for spiritual rejuvenation and in some cases, prayer for Nigeria. Places visited include the Mountain of Temptation in Jericho, the Church of Multiplication, Capernaum Town, among others.
I can see that those places and events I have read are real.
Prayed for transfiguration, for transformation. A new beginning entirely for me.
And I've seen God in a different way.
Whatever God says is the truth. It doesn't change because of time.
So many inspirations, so much of impartation that can change us so we can change our society.
The pilgrimage continues as more Nigerians are expected in Israel the coming weeks ahead. About 30,000 pilgrims are embarking on this year's pilgrimage from Nigeria. The Church of Transfiguration is located on Mount Tabor. It is the traditional site of Jesus' transfiguration. This is also the place where Deborah defeated the army. From Mount Tabor in Israel, Amina Nujaim, NTA News.
In support of the development of the education sector in Cross River State, 50 indigent students have been awarded scholarships across 10 secondary schools in the southern senatorial district of the state. Correspondent Budi Abam reports that the award is under the first phase of ASEAN Itam Education Trust Fund, a foundation put in place in honor of the father of the Director General of the State Security Service, Mr. Ita Ekbayong. His report.
Over 6,000 million naira has been set aside to kickstart the ASEAN Itam Education Trust Fund. The Board of Trustees chairman of the fund, Gesham Henshaw, said the arrangement is in support of the SSS Director General's vision of educating the less privileged in the society, a legacy his late father, ASEAN Itam, left behind. Under this arrangement, the students who were selected on merit will have their school fees and books allowances paid for one school year through the trust fund.
When we were trying to do a reception party, when he was reappointed DG of SSS, he said, please guys, I would prefer if you could plow that money into creating an endowment for scholarship for indigent students. And that is the beginning of this.
It will also enable them achieve their dreams of becoming educated in life.
I would love to advise them that they should put all their mind in their studies and study very hard.
In Calabar, Budi Akpan, NTA News.
The 2014 Annual National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFEST, in Ebonyi State has ended with a call on the private sector to invest more towards the development of the arts and craft industry. Governor Martin Elichi, who declared the festival closed, commended President Goodluck Jonathan for supporting the promotion of the industry.
The beauty of NAFEST, to my mind, is that apart from producing arts and culture champions, it provides unique platform for the celebration and renewal of the rich cultural heritage of our nation.
Representing the Minister of Tourism, Culture and National Orientation, Edem Duke, the festival director, Dayo Keshe, said the 28th edition has explored ways in which culture can contribute to the promotion of peace and harmony. Ebonyi State emerged the overall winner, while Niger and Akwa Ibom states took the second and third positions. Contingents from 19 states of the Federation participated at the event. School agriculture program in Nigeria, new thinking to revive it, is the focus of tonight's edition of Weekend File. Stay with us for details in the second part.
From the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Johnny S5.5, the slimmest in the world. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved. Johnny M2, 28 days standby time. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
Chi Happy Hour, burst of refreshment. Available in peach, tropical fruit, apple peach pear, kiwi mint lime, and guava. Chi Happy Hour, burst of refreshment.
House of Chi.
The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC), in exercise of its functions enshrined in the Nigeria Communication Act (NCA) 2003, do hereby inform the general public, especially all VSAT IDA service providers and VSAT users, as follows: that the Commission is currently carrying out an audit exercise on all the VSAT IDA service providers and users within Abuja and environs. All VSAT IDA service providers and users, ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, banks and other organizations using this service are hereby required to cooperate with the consultant appointed by the Commission for this exercise. The consultant will also be duly introduced through a formal letter from the Commission. Signed, Tony Ojobo, Director, Public Affairs.
Would you ever buy half a dress? Is buying half a car a good deal? Would you settle for less than 100%? So why compromise on your fruit juice? Presenting Chivita 100% real, natural fruit juice with no preservatives and no added sugar, with a rich texture and real taste of fruits. Chivita 100% natural fruit juice for you and your family. Chivita 100% real fruit juice, available in orange, pineapple, apple, orange pineapple, and orange mango.
House of Chi.
On behalf of my family and the good women of our great country, Nigeria, I rejoice with you, the mother of the nation, our very own Mama Peace, Your Excellency, Dame Dr. Patience Faka Jonathan, First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, as you celebrate your birthday today. Your commitment to championing the cause of Nigerian women is legendary and remains an inspiration. We acknowledge and appreciate your efforts today. today and always, as we pray that God grants you long life, good health, more strength and wisdom to continue to offer selfless service to Nigerian women, the nation Africa, and indeed the world. Happy birthday, Mama Peace. Hajia Dr. Amina Namadi Sambo, wife of the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, announcer. The political party's leadership and policy development center of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Guru JOS, as one of the ways of achieving its mandate, is organizing an international conference on the theme Political Parties and Violence-Free Elections in Nigeria towards deepening the democratic process. Date 27th to 28th October 2014. Venue Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja. Time 9 a.m. The center is supported by Democratic Governance and Development Tool of the UNDP, jointly financed by the European Union, UK Aid, Canadian International Development Agency, and UNDP. Professor Olu Obafemi, Director of Studies and Chief Operating Officer of the Center, announcer.
Yogurt break time when I'm hungry, when I'm thirsty. Hollandia, yogurt break time when I'm hungry, when I'm thirsty. Oh, yeah, 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 yo. Oh, say, Hollandia.
Hollandia yogurt, available in strawberry, plain, and pineapple coconut.
For the Nigerian Television Authority NTA to remain on top in the business of broadcasting, there is the need for high creativity in content development and technical quality to meet world standard, which NTA's management is currently pursuing. The Director General of the NTA, Shola Omole, said this on NTA's AM Express program. Correspondent Chimdi Mandubisi reports that they also pledged the station's continued participation in conferences like Africast, MIMCOM, exhibitions, and the use of such platforms in unveiling Nigeria's foreign policy to the world.
In the face of modern technology, social media, and proliferation of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, is repositioning itself to be relevant in the 21st century broadcasting. The Director General, after attending some global conferences and exhibitions on digitization and content development, says there are lessons to be learned.
The opportunity it gave us is to say, here is who we are as Nigerian Television Authority. I think we've gotten to the point where we can rub shoulders with the best in the world. And that platform offered us that opportunity. I think that it also gave us the opportunity to sort of talk with content producers, talk with marketers, talk with agents, establish some relationship. Our creativity, the level of creativity has got to be stepped up several notches. Broadcasting is not just a social service, it's a business enterprise. You have profit and loss. Then you put digitization into the whole mix.
The Vice President, Mohammed Namadi Sambo, has congratulated the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, on the occasion of her 57th birthday. In a statement signed by his Senior Special Assistant on Media, Omar Sani, the Vice President wished the First Lady long life, prosperity, and many happy returns as she celebrates another significant day in her life. Now to the business of the day. The ever-increasing demand as a result of population growth being threatened. This is because major producers of the food consumed nationwide, who are mostly the elderly, are not being replaced by the younger ones. Worried by this situation, the federal government introduced National School Agriculture Program to attract the interest of the youth in farming activities. In this report, Musa Babali takes a look at the impact of the initiative to national food security.
Records have shown that most of the food consumed in Nigeria are produced by small-scale farmers. Unfortunately, these farmers, who are mostly elderly, are gradually retiring due to old age or ill health. The youth, who are expected to take over from the aged, have little or no interest in agricultural activities, preferring white-collar jobs which are not readily available.
the basic thing is that what are you getting out of agriculture that will be enough to make you say you are a man, you are okay. It is too low, and that is why young people are moving to things that will give them more money faster.
In order to address this, therefore, the federal government has introduced a national school agricultural program aimed at developing a new generation of youth agriculture enthusiasts from secondary schools. The program will also focus on food and vegetables production, poultry and livestock, as well as small-scale irrigation.
The National School Agri Program will instill a self-reliant entrepreneurship culture within our school children from an early age. It will provide them the most needed aptitude for self-employment and encourage them to take agribusiness as a veritable means of livelihood.
Students will be equipped with jobs for life through practical teaching of skills, the development of positive attitude towards agriculture. The program will help students to develop their competence, confidence, composure, connection, and character.
Under the initiative, agribusiness clubs are to be established in selected schools in 12 states across the geopolitical zones, comprising 120 students each.
The schools will be encouraged to ensure that such clubs are given all the support they require.
You learn many skills, as many as possible, and the farming that they are trying to introduce, to me, is a very good idea. It will give them opportunity to come down to earth, to appreciate, the process, and when they do it, it might even end up tomorrow to give them good earnings that will be an additional income to whatever profession or wherever they find themselves.
Effective implementation of the school agri program is expected to be catalyst for agricultural development, poverty alleviation, and closing the gap of existing farmers. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
From Sokoto comes a report that agricultural scientists have attributed the failure of previous school agriculture farming system to the increase in the population of schools, changes in curriculum, and inadequate agricultural experts to run the subject. Mohammed Nasser has a situation report on the program in Sokoto and Kebbi states.
Programs and activities that enable school children to develop interest in farming are no longer in existence in many schools in Sokoto State. Such activities include practical application of the branches of agricultural science that include animal husbandry, fisheries, and crop production, among others. An agricultural educationist in Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Lema, said, changing curriculum in education, which made agricultural science subject elective among students, will not augur well, especially the northern part of Nigeria, where agriculture is the mainstay of its economy.
Education should be operated closely to the need of a particular society.
Another agriculturalist, Dr. Bello Zaki Abubakar, said,
by providing all the necessary enabling environment.
And from Kebbi State, correspondent Ibrahim Hamidu reports that students in the state are now involved in the National School Agriculture Program initiated by government designed to benefit millions of youths. Head of Department of Agriculture, Government Girls College Unity, Birnin Kebbi, Ms. Tura Abdul Wahid, said students are learning fast on the technical and entrepreneurship aspect in agricultural science.
We encourage them on farming because farming is a thing that is very useful.
In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasser, NTA News.
And with the launch of school agricultural program in the country, stakeholders in the Southeast have described the program as a laudable one that will bridge the age gap in the nation's farming population if sustained. Susan Eze reports.
As Enugu state government is making moves to shift from old agricultural methods to more robust private sector-driven agriculture, the state is ready to key into the newly launched schools agricultural program as one of the pilot states.
They are going to start with those commodities for which they have comparative advantage.
In Anambra State, a program mobilization of schools for agriculture and industry, MOSAI, was a veritable tool to achieve youth participation in agriculture, but this later phased out.
policy issues, that is one, lack of incentives.
Investigations reveal that in Aba, some schools still practice agriculture to help young ones develop interest in farming.
We are doing agriculture in our families, in our schools, so that we can carry out the responsibility of the family.
In Ebonyi State, most primary and secondary schools can boast of little or nothing in the area of practical agriculture.
With our teachers and the equipment available, I think the state will do very well.
In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
Agriculture in Nigeria over time has been largely associated with manual labor and the use of rudimentary tools, which has made it suffer neglect. This has been a major concern to government and other stakeholders, leading to the formulation of programs and policies to turn the tide. One of such is the recent school agriculture farming program. Correspondent Ben Hanya examines the prospects and challenges of the program in Benue State.
According to available records, agriculture is not only the largest employer of labor in Benue State, but also a sector that produces an array of food crops, which has earned the state the popular appellation, food basket of the nation. However, farmers in the state largely practice subsistence agriculture using rudimentary tools and also lack processing facilities. Over time, young people have continued to neglect agriculture because of the drudgery associated with it, in preference for white-collar jobs in urban areas which are in short supply.
On our own here, we are encouraging the Young Farmers Association in various schools to participate in agriculture. So when that one comes up, this one will be another fine for the success of that program that we earlier on signed an MOU with the federal government.
Government can go into some other aspects of agriculture like poultry production, fish production, and even some small sizes of feed agricultural production.
Though Benue State is not selected for the program, 12 other schools have been picked for the pilot program across the country. In Makudi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on Schools Agriculture Program joins us next on Weekend File. Keep it here with us.
Can your milk do this?
Let's talk about la 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 feels love. La 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 la.
Can your milk do this?
Love is sweet tea, love is a muppet, love is boiled sweet stuck to your pockets, love is a kiss when you.
Can your milk do this?
Can your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your cereals, oats, smoothies, custards, ice cream, and variation of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Chi.
I need a great deal, the best price I can get.
That's why I shop on Jumia.
We got some orders, higher on all cylinders. We'll not rest until it's packaged and delivered. Do everything it to take. Baby, you know we ain't got time to waste. Customer satisfaction is the way. We're not gonna stop until it's okay. Oh yeah, let's do this. Put our best into this. The online so you can trust. We're not gonna stop until it's okay.
Jumia, the online shop you can trust.
Chivita Active Fruit Juice. Unique quality blend of 6 citrus fruit juices with added vitamin C. It's the perfect choice of refreshments for an active lifestyle. One of those? Chivita Active. Be active. Do more. Get more out of life.
House of Chi.
Auntie!
Hello, my dear. I see you went shopping with your mom, right? And what did you buy?
Power oil. It has 0 cholesterol and 0 trans fats. And contains vitamin A and natural vitamin E. It's a healthy oil for healthy family.
I'll buy Power next time I go shopping, huh?
Power oil. Healthy for you.
Wow, what a great beach! Look, other kids have also discovered it. Who owns this place? A Capuchin. Put a straw in and let the tasty Capri Sun decide. And now the beach belongs to everyone. My kids are explorers. They love Capri Sun. Capri Sun provides them great taste, lots of energy and fun. Now, new exciting tropical flavor is also available for even more fun. Capri Sun, naturally fun. House of Chi.
Introducing the great tasting new Mini-Me Chin Chin. Rich in yummy ingredients like milk, butter, and wheat.
Mini-Me, crunchy. Mini-Me, tasty.
Playful, cheerful, joyful, very big. Break the boredom with the unique taste of Mini-Me Chin Chin.
Like my Mini-Me, yeah.
You are watching Weekend File on the NTA Network service. Joining me now is Dr. Baraka Sani, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Schools Agriculture Program. Madam, you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much.
We're glad to have you again on this platform. Right. What are some of the programs being put in place as an initial plan for this Schools Agriculture Program?
Well, from the very beginning, we have decided to put into the program the friendly environment within which the students can find easy and interesting to operate. Therefore, we made it an out-of-school program, an after-school program, and it is going to operate on a non-formal curriculum. And for this reason, the students will find it easier and at a better atmosphere to learn on their own and in an interactive session with their coordinators. And we have made the teachers of agri-science and commerce to be the coordinators of the program in their schools.
Now, what do you mean by non-formal curriculum? Because I was going to ask you this question. Is the government thinking in the direction of making agriculture a compulsory subject, at least for pupils in primary school and those in post-primary school as a compulsory subject? Are you thinking that direction?
No, really, you see, when you want to compel people to do things, they might do them out of their will, and it might not be very good. But when you make the environment conducive for the young ones, and they themselves find it interesting, and they offer themselves to do that, then it will work out better. And when you say a non-formal curriculum, it means it is not going under an examination by anybody. You just learn, but it's not for, it's not the recognized one by the national curriculum body that, that is responsible with preparing the curriculum that is being tested upon the students. So it's a curriculum, fine, but it's not a formal one, which means it is not the one that you would have exams for them.
Which means that any student could opt out of this.
Generally, yes.
But because we are trying to internalize this issue of thinking agriculture from childhood, and that's why we are going back to school to do that. I remember those good old days as a younger person. I'll see that pupils have ridges in school farms. Every school has one farm or the other where they go do practical agriculture. Every pupil will have your own ridge. You plant whatever you want to plant there. On Harvest Day, it's like a celebration in the school. So how will this be internalized? Since we are now trying to see how we can replace the older generation of farmers in this country.
Well, when you say you want to replace the older generation, then you have to do something that the young ones would be willing to take up to. For instance, the negative perception of agriculture by the young ones has to be changed. You have to change, their perception about it being a punishment, being a dirty man's job or an old man's job. And that is the beginning. How do you do that? You have to make it interesting. You have to make it inviting. And you have to make it in an easy atmosphere that they will not be able to kind of attach it to punishment. Because if you look at the secondary school life, you see that when students offend the teachers or sometimes within the school compound, they just tell you to go to the farm. And sometimes this makes them grow up to see agriculture as a punishment, not a blessing. And that has to change for them to be able to do. Secondly, the name. The name farmer doesn't sound chic to the young ones of today. They want something more psychedelic. When somebody says he's a banker or he says maybe I work in the Ports Authority, then you too want to say, yes, I am an agribusinessman or I do this in agriculture. You don't want to be called just a farmer. So that has to be taken care of. Then also you need to look at the innovation. Students or you young ones would be more willing to go in line with innovation. When you tell them to talk ICT in agriculture, when you tell them to talk communication, when you tell them to do marketing, when you tell them to do something like an office setup and you'll be dealing in terms, with agribusiness, they would find it easier to join along that value chain. And Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, has already promised that he is going to turn around this sector. He is going to close this gap. And the first thing he did was the programs that were introduced, the GES, the Agricultural Transformation Agenda, put on board the e-wallet system. Brought inclusion, brought women, brought the less privileged, brought everybody back to the system of getting support from the government. So the next one was the YEP, Youth Employment in Agriculture. This is an attempt to tackle those that are out of school or maybe in the higher institutions and they want to join agriculture. So it has to be made for them. Then the next one is now this program that was launched by Mr. President on Monday. That is the National Schools Agriculture Program, which is, targeting ages maybe 10 to 17, because the other one is 18 to 35. So this is around that. And it is meant to impart skills, useful skills for life, bringing out the confidence, the competence, the composure, and all that is necessary, the hidden potentials of our young ones. They are very talented.
All right, all right. Now let me ask you this, because anything you have to do in schools have to deal with the principals or headmasters, as the case may be, and then teachers as well. How are you coping with that? Because this has just started. I wouldn't say you have already experimented or something, but how are you working out modalities, for carrying teachers and heads of schools along in this program?
Well, the very beginning is that we allow them to buy into the program. We made them to select areas that are of interest to them. We made the teachers to be volunteers. They volunteered to be the coordinators. So there is no compulsion in anything that we're doing. And we've got a structure. Everybody is giving a sense of belonging. The principals form part of the school board. The coordinating teachers form part of the club board. And also we have the community, the association of farmers, the authorities within the community where the school is, and then the students themselves. And we made the nomenclature to suit modern day business like MD, CEO, and so on. So everybody has a role to play. The coordinators are supposed to interact with these students, and they will learn by doing. It's a learning by doing thing, and it has been made to kind of bring everybody on board, including the arts and crafts teachers, the maths teachers, the economic teachers, and we still have open door policy in terms of people that want to support the program. So you see that we have the whole study has 4 components. The first component is the learning component. Under the learning component, we have the skills using arts and crafts, arts and crafts using byproducts of agriculture, and then skills in terms of debate and so on. Then we have the core agric enterprise, which are basically 7: horticulture, poultry, apiculture, aquaculture, processing and packaging, foods and nutrition, and then you have the horticulture aspect of it. So they are expected to choose one. Then you have the volunteer teacher training, where we enhance their capacity and put them into perspective. The second component is the programs component, where we have debates, international conference, where Mr. President will be meeting with the students once in a year. This is generally to encourage them.
All right, and if you say it's not coming to the formal curriculum, well, one wonders how it's going to work out. But then we are going to follow what you're doing religiously to see how it's going to play out. And at this point, I'd like to thank you for talking to us on Weekend File. It's been exciting talking to you on this program. Dr. Baraka Sani is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Schools Agriculture Program. You're watching Weekend File. Let's take another break. We'll be back very shortly.
Make you come alive. Yeah. The 7 tropical wonders are mine for the asking. Gee, exotic nectar. Gee, exotic nectar. Just exotic, oh yeah. Makes you come alive. Oh yeah. I can't get enough of the tropical freshness. Yeah. Exotic in goodness mixed with pineapple sweetness. Exotic nectar. Exotic makes you come alive.
And those who make changes. We belong to the kind that make changes. We believe in it. We demonstrate it. We support it. We endorse it.
Let the change continue. This message is brought to you by Project 774,
where government meets the governed.
Johnny M2, 28 days standby time. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
Women boxers dazzle fans at the 57th Boxing Hall of Fame in Lagos. Real Madrid outclass Barcelona at first El Clasico of the season. Plus, results from the Barclays Premier League. Henry Efium has the details in our sports update.
This month's Boxing Hall of Fame featured 9 bouts in 9 weight categories. The high point was the only women's fight of the day, which had Yetunde Odeluga of the Lion Boxing Club taking on Toyin Adejumola from the Smart Boxing Club.
I have movements, I have brain, I have the power hand. I want to collect the World Boxing Championship, the WC belt. I want to collect the best female boxer in lightweight category.
We take very good care of our youngsters. Medically, they always have a medical. We always have doctors at ringside with respirator and all the equipment that you may need.
Luis Suarez finally made his debut for Barcelona in the highly anticipated El Clasico, as his side gave up a 1-goal lead to lose 3-1 to Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in the Spanish La Liga. Ronaldo, Pepe and Benzema did the damage for Real, while Neymar got Barcelona's solitary goal. And in the Barclays Premier League, champions Manchester City recorded their second defeat of the season, losing 2-1 at West Ham. As Arsenal picked up maximum points with a 2-0 victory over Sunderland. In some of the other results, Southampton beat Stoke City by a lone goal, while Liverpool were held to a goalless draw by Hull City. With sports updates, Henry Efium, NTA News.
The late Sudanese ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Tengasil Ali, has been described as a man who had the zeal to develop the bilateral relations between Sudan and Nigeria. The remains of the late ambassador, who died in Abuja as a result of complications from malaria, have been flown to Sudan. Correspondent Taiwo Dumesa reports that the condolence register would be opened at the Sudanese embassy in Abuja on Wednesday. The remains of the foremost indigenous paint manufacturer in the southeast, Chief Theophilus Mbakwe, has been buried in Amibo in Wangele local government area of Imo State. Beatrice Anyam reports.
The Bishop of Anglican Diocese of Isimbano, Right Reverend Gosson Okanwa, who officiated at the funeral mass, advised the deceased children to uphold the virtues of their late father, whom he described as a devout Christian.
And for Paul of Tarsus, death is a port after a troubled sea. The world is a troubled sea.
Dignitaries who attended the burial included Governor Rocha Zukorocha, Senator Hope Uzodinma, and former Governor Achike Udenwa. Friends, associates, and family members of late T.C. Mbakwe paid glowing tribute to him.
He left a legacy that will speak for him. He was a very bold man.
The life he lived was immutable, very immutable.
He is my mentor, and to the community, he was such a great leader. He cares a lot for us. A role model for several people.
Aged 80, late Chief Theophilus Mbakwe, popularly called TTC, was a Knight of St. Christopher. From Amibo in Wangele local government area of Imo State, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
Now time for a quick check on weather prospects across the country for tomorrow. As we round off tonight's edition of the program, it is your right to challenge anybody suspected to be involved in unwholesome activities around you. Be security conscious. This message is from the Directorate of State Security. And that's Weekend File for tonight. But before we go, a special service in which President Goodluck Jonathan is participating in this year's Christian pilgrimage to Israel will be brought to you live on NTA Network service tomorrow, Sunday, 26th of October at 8 o'clock in the morning. All NTA stations are advised to hook up to that program. And on that note, thanks for watching. Let's do this again next Saturday. From the operational crew, is good night.